In this video, I am going to discuss about the basic elements of wage and compensation and welfare management. Basic wage. Basic wage. The term basic wage is nothing but it's a whether it is a wage or salary based on the cost of living. It is used as a standard for calculating rates of pay. So the basic wage in India corresponds with what has been recommended by the Fair Wages Committee 1948 and the 15th Indian Labour Conference 1957. The various wages by wage tribunals, wage boards, pay commissions, reports and the job evaluation, it all served as guiding principles for in determining the basic wage. So it is a basic wage is a rate of payment for a standard work period excluding all the additional payments such as bonuses and overtime. So while deciding the basic wage, various important factors must be considered, like say for example, the skills needed for a particular job, they have to be considered. What is the experience needed for a particular job in deciding this basic wage? What is the difficulty involved in the work, whether it is mental work or a physical work? What is the training, whether training is needed for the particular employee to perform that particular job, and what are the responsibilities involved in that job, and whether the job is of hazardous nature or not. So all these are the factors need to be considered while deciding the basic wage. Minimum wage. Minimum wage is nothing but the level of income for skilled and unskilled workers which ensures a sustaining standard of living, which also provides some measure of comfort. So, in order to prevent the exploitation of labor, it is that wage which must invariably be paid whether the company is big or small, whether it makes profits or not. It should be paid in the manner prescribed by the organization. So it is the amount of remuneration which could meet the normal needs of the average employee regarded as a human being living in a civilized society. Living wage. It is a minimum income necessary for a worker to meet their basic needs. Here, the goal of this living wage is to allow a worker to afford a basic but decent standard of living through employment without any government subsidies. That is, it is the highest amount of remuneration, and naturally it would include all the amenities which a citizen living in a modern civilized society is entitled to expect. When the economy of the country is sufficiently advanced and the employer is able to meet the expanding aspirations of his workers. So it must provide all the basic amenities of the life to fulfill the life of an employee. It should consider the efficiency of the workers, and it should also satisfy the social needs of the workers such as medical benefits, educational benefits or retirement benefits, whatever it might be. All these benefits must be satisfied. So living wage is it's a dynamic concept which grows in line with the growth of the national income. So fair wage. Fair wage. It is that wage which is above the minimum wage but below the living wage. See in the adjacent picture, whenever the organization and the manager is the management is getting huge profits, from that profits he is giving only this much of remuneration to the employee. So there should be the wage, it should not be like this. So the wages or the salaries provided to the employees on behalf of their services should be in a fair manner. So it is an adjustable step which moves on according to the capacity of the industry to pay under the prevailing rates of wages in the area of that industry. So we can say that according to the Committee on Fair Wages 1948, fair wage should be determined excuse me, taking various factors into account. That is, the productivity of the labor should be considered, the prevailing rates of the wages in the similar occupations in the same region or the neighboring regions must also be considered. The level of the national income and its distribution all over the world should be considered. The place of the industry in the economy of the country should be considered, and the employer's capacity to pay, whether the employer is able to pay the remuneration in an affordable manner or not, it should also be considered. These are the various factors need to be considered while designing this fair wage. Hence, fair wages are above the minimum wages and below the living wages. Incentives. Incentives are the additional payments to the employees besides the payment of regular wages and salaries. Incentives are also called as payment by results. So whenever in your short questions, if any questions comes as like payment by results, explain about payment by results, then you have to write about incentives. Incentives and payment by results, these are all one and the same. That is additional amount for additional work. That is additional payments are given to the employees besides the regular wages and salaries. Say for example, if an employee works for about 8 hours, then he'll get his regular salary. If he works for 9 to 10 hours, then whatever the 1 hour or the 2 hours added apart from the regular 8 hours, for those 1 or 2 hours the payment will be decided, and there is a basic pay for the payments, and those payments are given. That is nothing but incentives. Take home salary. Take home salary is nothing but the amount of salary left to the employee after making all the authorized deductions. Say, for example, apart from the basic salary, employees will get provident fund, bonus, house rent allowances, DA, life insurance premium, all the income tax. Whenever all these deductions are taken removed, after making all these authorized deductions, whatever the amount left with the employee, that is nothing but take home salary. Dearness allowance. Dearness allowance. We simply call it every time as DA. Shortly, DA. It is a calculation on inflation. DA is calculated on inflation. So whenever there is an increase or decrease in the price levels of the commodities, then dearness allowances keep on changing to whether increased or decreased. So it is an allowance paid to the government employees or public sector employees working in the public sector units or pensioners, especially in India, Bangladesh and Pakistan. So why this DA is provided? So in order to enable them to face the increasing demands of the essential commodities, dearness allowances are provided to the employees to meet the requirements and the requirements of the requirements in purchasing various commodities from the labor market. So it serves as a cushion and a sort of insurance against increasing in the price levels of the commodities. So instead of increasing wages every time, whether there is a rise or fall in the price levels, DA is paid to neutralize the effects of the inflation. When prices go down, obviously DA can also be reduced. Because as the impact of inflation varies according to the location of the employee, DA is calculated accordingly. So, dearness allowances varies from employee to employee based on their presence in the locality, whether the employee is residing in the urban areas or semi-urban areas or in rural areas. Apart from this, there are various health benefits are also provided to the employees like sickness benefits, maternity benefits, disablement benefits or dependence benefits or medical benefits. All these benefits we'll study in the social security measures in your fourth semester. Fourth unit. Fourth unit of this semester. So next one is fringe benefits. Fringe benefits. Fringe benefits are nothing but the both the monetary and the non-monetary benefits given to the employees during the employment period and also the post-employment period. So fringe benefits, these are completely connected with the employment but not to the organization. So whatever the monetary and the non-monetary benefits given during the employment period and after the employment period, that is during the retirement period, is nothing but fringe benefits. Here, what are the benefits included during the employment period? Say, for example, during the employment period, the employees will get bonus, house rent allowances, transport facilities, medical facilities, canteen facilities, educational and recreational facilities. All these are the benefits which the employee and some of the social security measures are also like workman compensation, like partial disablement, temporary disablement, permanent disablement. All these are the various disablement benefits and the dependent benefits. These are all provided during the employment period for an employee. So whereas after the employment, once the employee is also relieved from the organization, then also organization employment is providing benefits to the employee. Here organization is not providing, only because of the employment only employee is getting all the post employment benefits, that is retirement benefits, say for example provident fund, gratuity and pension. These are the various benefits which are provided after the employment period of the employee. So fringe benefits includes both the monetary benefits as well as the non-monetary benefits. So in this here in this slide you can see the picture which I have shown in the right side, that is fringe benefits which comes under or all included here. In this picture you can see medical benefits, dependent benefits and everything, all these. What are these? Here the fringe benefits, these are all the synonyms for fringe benefits. Fringe benefits are also called as wage supplements, supplementary compensation, non-wage benefits, indirect benefits, hidden payments. All these are the various other names for fringe benefits. Perquisites or perks. Here in my previous slide you have seen that here perks is there. So perquisites or perks are one of the type of fringe benefits which are given to CEO level or very small group of key officials in the organization, say for example senior managers. Perquisites or perks are given only to CEO cadre or senior level managers cadre. So these are normally paid to managerial personnel either to facilitate their job performance or to retain them in their organization. So in order to motivate the senior professionals, these perks are provided, or in order to retain them for not going to the higher package to another organization, in order to retain them in their current organization, perks are provided to the efficient managerial personnel. So what do these perks actually include? These includes company car, free residential accommodation, club membership, paid holiday trips, use of company credit cards and special living allowances, etc. So these are the various benefits provided under, which comes under fringe benefits, and these are particularly to only special persons or the professionals in the organization. So what are the principles or the guidelines on which wage and salary administration is decided? So before going there, what is the need for the designing this wage and salary administration? Because most of the employee satisfaction and work performance are purely based on pay. As we know that once employee gets satisfied means whether he may get monetary or the non-monetary benefits from the organization in a very satisfactory manner. So internal inequalities in pay are more serious to certain employees, which will obviously make the employees to leave the organization. So there should not be any inequalities in towards payment of their remuneration to the employees. Employees compare their pay with that of the others, because every time employees will compare their salaries with that of the others in the organization or outside of the organization. So because of these factors, there are various guidelines that are designed in order to facilitate proper designing of this wage and salary administration. So in that, first one is payment of higher wages and salaries to persons who hold jobs and positions regarding great skill, effort and responsibility. So here payment of higher wages and salaries to persons here in the organizations, employees who are performing with good effort or great effort and responsibility will obviously be paid with higher wages and salaries. So whatever the wages or the salaries or the rates of pay must be decided based on the seniority as well as their ability of the job. Here payment of equal wages should be irrespective of race, gender and political differences. I used to say that there should not be any differences in payment of their wages or salaries irrespective of their race, gender or any political difference. So all must be paid equally because on what basis we are deciding this pay? Based on the job analysis, what are the duties and the responsibilities and what are the qualifications required for the job. Based on the job description and the job specification only, we are determining this wages and salaries. So one should not pay more for women or less more for women irrespective of race or gender. It should not be provided. So based on the requirements or the responsibilities of the job, that is job analysis, based on the job analysis only job evaluation should be done, that is relative worth of the job should be decided, but not considering the individual or the employee. Here, payment of equal wages for the same or closely related jobs. Here, equal wages, that is, I have already told you that there should be internal equity as well as external equity. Internal equity means within the organization, employees who are drawing similar wages should be similar positions should be paid with similar wages. At the same time, when comes to external equity, when the organization when there are employees in two different organizations carrying homogeneous activities or homogeneous job responsibilities, they must be paid with equal wages. So in comparable industries or in similar industries also, jobs with equal positions or equal activities should be paid in an equal manner. So giving a raise to persons whose performance justifies the raise. Here, persons who gives better performance should be provided with better wages. So there should be clearly and established procedures for hearing and adjusting wage complaints. This must be, actually it should be integrated with the regular grievance procedures if at all it exists in the organization. Here, whenever any complaint or any dispute or any misunderstanding happens in the organization between the employers and employers or between the employees and the management, they must be completely and immediately resolved by the management or the grievance redressal machinery. So here, if any grievance procedures, regular grievance procedures are existed with the organization, they all should be clearly established and they should all be clearly communicated to the employees. The wage or salary structure should be flexible. So according to the changing conditions, environmental factors will be all the micro and the macro environmental factors keep on changing. Say for example, personal factors, political, social, economical, technological, legal factors, all these keep on changing according to the changes in the business environment. So here, based on the changes, the wage and salaries should also be changed, because flexible, the name itself indicates they keep on changing according to the changes in the environmental factors. So the wage and salary structure should be flexible. For revision of wages, a wage committee should always be preferred to the individual judgment. So here, anytime any revision is needed for wages, a wage committee should be established. It should be established. It should always be preferred to the individual judgment. So here, these are the various principles and the guidelines on which wage and salary administration is designed. So thank you. If you have any queries regarding these basic concepts of compensation and welfare management unit 1, please mail me at sridevi.cms@acnu.edu.in. So go through the books, reference books for this for this topic is go through the principles and principles of management, essentials and principles of management, human resource management, and the books authored by P. Subbarao, V.S.P. Rao, A.M. Sharma, and L.M. Prasad. So all these 4 books will give you basic guidelines about the compensation and welfare management. If you have any queries, feel free to mail me at sridevi.cms@acnu.edu.in. Thank you.